All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Atlantic Strong podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Dickens, and with me tonight is Zane Nicholson, the Maritime's best overhead presser that also looks like your dad. And we're talking tonight about a competition that Zane is organizing for next May, May 8th and 9th, 2021, in Summerside PEI at the Credit Union Place, and it's going to be Atlantic Canada's strongest team. So, Zane, good to have you.
Thanks for having me back. I think I'm your first returning interview, so I definitely appreciate that. Thank you.
I think I had Dave and Aaron Prime talking about the gym, and then I had them come back on to preview Atlantic Canada's Strongest Man.
You're right. Nuts. I'll get the third.
Yeah. So you're organizing another competition. You did PEI Strongest Man. You and Ryan Marsh organized and ran that. So tell me what you got going on for May.
Yeah, so last time we were talking with PEI Strongest Man, I said I was going to take a step back and just compete the next year. But after PEI Strongest Man, it gave me the hosting bug. So I kind of put a little feel around to a couple communities and PEI. I had a team event kind of not half planned, but just sitting in the creative side of my mind. And Dallas Desjardins from the city of Summerside got back to me right away. He's some excited. He knows some about strongman, and the guy's just passionate about it. So once I explained what we were trying for, the city of Summerside, JP up there, they really hopped onto the event, so that we're able to put on a 2-day event, 8 different events inside of it, 4 Saturday, 4 Sunday. It's a great venue. They had Elton John there for 2 nights a few years ago. They've done ZZ Top. Obviously, tons of hockey. The basketball team used to be out of there. It's just great for spectators. It really is. We're able to really showcase what strongman is about. So whenever I was talking with him, I kind of pitched an amateur pro. But he was like, no, I want to see the monsters. I want to see the 300-pound fellas. I want to see the gals throwing kegs up 14 feet. He was excited. And it was really fun once that meeting happened to go ahead and just put the feet to the pavement and make another one. So it was so fun to start putting this together. Not everything's together yet. You're getting actually the sneak peek. I've given some people, asked them some questions about if you would do this or not, or, hey, would you take a look at this for me? But I haven't really announced it to anybody. We're not doing an announcement until Friday. I'm doing kind of the announcement first for the athletes, and then the city of Summerside, once we get some of the teams, they're going to start marketing the teams for the community for the event, which is really cool that for strongman in the circles, you see like, oh, like that's got Grant Connors. That's going to be cool. But it's going to be kind of advertising all the different teams and putting us in there, which is super different. It's not just, hey, come watch Atlantic Canada's strongest team. It's like, hey, come watch Jordan and your partner, or hopefully Dylan, if he's back in action, or whoever it is coming on over. So to see your face on a couple things is going to be awesome.
If I was, I knew about this event when you contacted me last week. So I was thinking about the teams. I was like, geez, so if you had Dylan, you'd have to have Dylan and Matt Sartoris compete together because they're way taller than everybody else. They'd have to be together to do a log and a deadlift.
Like you could really put some ridiculous people together.
You'd
Uh,
have to. You, you,
and
you you really have to. You have to think about not only because there's two team events, and we'll talk about those, but there's two, simultaneous lifts, a deadlift and a log press. So you can't have, you think about the guys that have been competing lately in the Maritimes in Atlantic Canada. You can't have Shane Gallant and Matt Sartoris together because Matt's 5 inches taller.
did you ever watch Zydrunas Savickas and Vitas Pakaitis doing
Yeah,
the team events together? Yeah, it obviously can work, but ideally you're going to want to, be within a couple inches so that one person really isn't caught with all the weight.
yeah,
Um, yeah, it's going to be fun. Like I'm very excited to see the combinations that come out of it. Um, I'm wondering if there's going to be, like, because once we get into it, you'll see that there is going to be, a cardio event, a stone event. Like, is there going to be one person that's more power based and one person that's more stamina, or is people going to try to be as evenly matched as possible? I tossed it out to Morgan Ellis, who recently came fourth in PEI Strongest Man. He came second with Troy's event about a year ago now, to team up. And my whole pitch was, hey, want to have some fun? We're going to get our butt kicked by the best ones out there, but let's do this. I went for somebody that is as stubborn as they come, because I know with the grip, the front hold, the stone, it's a lot longer. It's not the 60 seconds. It's not the 75 seconds that you would be doing normally by yourself. We're getting into some things that are 2 minutes long. So you got to have somebody that's really headstrong to put in a 2-minute performance, not just a 60-second performance like you normally would. Because
yeah.
even though you're not working for that full 2 minutes, that lactic acid is going to catch you and catch you fast.
Oh yeah. Let's I think this is a good time to go over the events. So, what's going to happen is it's over a weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So 4 events Saturday, and you already have a well laid out schedule for the events. So starting on Saturday, the first event is going to be a stone over bar, where it's going to be head to head, but it's going to be the two partners going head to head, competing for the most reps in 2 minutes, which I
Yeah.
think that's a great layout for that event.
It was a little rough putting the stone over bar first because you get tackied up right away. But thankfully, having I believe the females are going first in this, and then the males are going to go second. That they'll give some time to clean up before they move into the next event. I'm unsure what the weight of the stones are going to be. I'm thinking for the males, it's probably going to be rocking around that 300 mark, with the females probably at that 175 mark. Once again, 2 minutes. If it so happens that you get it over and your partner gets stuck, you can run to the other side, flip it back over, and then go to your other side and keep going. So
Yeah,
one
this
person could
this
end
is
up
one of
doing
those.
8
This is
reps
a
in a
pretty
row.
interesting caveat that you have in some of these events, where if you partner up with a person that's really good at stones and you're not so good, you could let them take the brunt of it and go back and forth, uh, around the yoke to complete the reps.
And one of the things that I want to point out with this one is that you can't roll it back under to your teammates so that they don't have to run around. They have to boogie to get around to the other side to flip it back. So that's where it's going to come down. Do you want somebody that's kind of even strength with you? Do you want somebody that's opposite so that your strengths are their weaknesses type of thing? I'm hoping 300 pounds isn't a huge stone by any means, but I'm kind of hoping over 2 minutes or so, once again, there's a lot of things getting made for this event. Stone being one of them. We do have like a 270 stone, a 320 stone type thing, but might try to get one right bang at 300. Just kind of looking around. Right now, 8 teams is kind of the goal for 8 male teams, 8 female teams, but it could go up to 10. So to make sure that we don't have anybody zeroing per se, but we want to make it so that it's a dogfight, going back and forth.
Right on. So then the second event is going to be a front hold, which is getting pretty popular again for events. I mean, in the 80s and 90s, they did it all the time, and it kind of fell off. And now it's it's always in UK Strongest Man. I think it's been Europe Strongest Man over the past couple of years. So it's going to be each person goes and the times are added up.
Exactly. With this event, we're planning to have video shot. And being in front of a live audience, we can take that video and put it right up onto the big screen. So having those grimacing faces being shown to everybody around or having that videotaped just makes for a good live event. It's a staple of the older strongman events. And since it is coming back, I'd love to get it. Plus, with this one, we're hoping we have a couple sponsors in mind that we're hoping to use some of their stuff. So it's not just a sandbag. It's not just a dumbbell or a hammer type of thing. We're looking to have a little bit of an odd implement to do it with. So that should throw a little bit of a wrench into the gears for everybody. So with males, if you're looking to sign up for this event, think in that 40 to 55 pound range, where females that 20 to 30 pound range. Whenever you're training, train a little bit of everything for this. Once I get the official go ahead, we'll be posting up what it's going to be. But it's going to hurt. You don't want to let your partner down whenever it's time at it like that. So, and with this one, 2 people are going to be going at the same time, but not the partners.
Okay.
So team A, team B, and then they'll come in behind with the next people. So you're going to be fighting a competitor this time instead of with the stone nose back and forth with your partner. This one, you're going against somebody.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, the next event on Saturday is going to be a loading medley. We'll kind of gloss over that because it's still a little bit tentative as to what you're going to have for implements and weights. But I always love this kind of thing because you can get some weird stuff in there, some awkward stuff, and some heavy stuff. So it's kind of they're fun to do as a competitor, and they're really fun to watch. But this is another one where you've got that caveat in there that
You saw that, did you?
if you're loading an event and you're loading an implement and you're having trouble with it, then as long as you make it halfway across the field, you can go back and tag your partner and have them finish the run.
Yeah. So once again, the partner can come in and give it a go. So with this one, the plan is that it's going to be half traditional strongman, yoke, farmers, frame, and then the last couple pieces is going to be brought in by the sponsors. So once again, getting a little bit weird. So yeah, it's a run back and forth. So this one's definitely going to be a little bit more that cardio base. And you said it perfectly. Once you get to that halfway point, if you're really struggling with the yoke, you can run back, take your partner, and they can finish off the run for you. So it is going to be a longer run. I think I have it at 20 meters. So it is going to be a little bit more on the heavier side of things. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be really fun. I think that one's really going to fire up the crowd.
Yeah, I think those kinds of events are visually a spectator. They're pretty fun to watch.
Yeah. Which brings
Um,
the next one pretty nicely.
Another fan favorite, really fun to watch, Hercules Hold, and the same idea. No, it's not the same idea. So how are you going to have this one laid out?
Sure. So it's a 2-person Hercules hold. Where this is our first one that we're getting Smith Custom Creations to build for us, so that they're going to have 2 different bases that we can go apart depending on essentially how tall or how broad each team can reach. So one person grabs onto one part of the Hercules hold, the other person grabs, and then they both grab a link in the middle. So there's going through. If you look up UK Strongest Team, the one that Glenn puts on, like Who's Your Daddy?
Yep.
Or Who's the Daddy? Sorry. He uses it quite a bit, and it's something ridiculous to watch. It's just going to be impressive seeing it in there. And once again, having the camera zoom in on you while you're trying to think about something else. It's going to be heavy in the hands. I'm not expecting anybody to really be breaking 2 minutes by any means. This is going to be a real grinder for people. Definitely bring your mouth guard.
All right. So after the Hercules Hold on Saturday, or no, does that move us into Sunday?
So that's the last event for
That's the
Saturday.
last event for Saturday. So then Sunday morning starts with a 2-man deadlift.
Yeah, what a great way to wake up, eh?
Yeah, we were talking about before we started to record. We were talking about the implement that you're going to use. You were saying possibly having an axle built to purpose, which I think is a fantastic idea. You don't have to worry about two people trying to squeeze in between the collars of a standard bar. And custom equipment looks better for the fans
I,
at the shows.
the way that we're talking about it, it's going to look pretty gnarly. It's going to be something to watch. A deadlift is super impressive for a strongman or a powerlifter, but for a normal person, yeah, okay, that's pretty cool. But whenever you start getting into something a little bit weird that you're deadlifting, it really brings in that average person. So think of like the Hummer tire deadlift at the Arnold's.
Yeah,
Anybody would think that that's ridiculous. Um, Once again, but for a strongman powerman, it's still a deadlift, which is a staple. So
yeah,
being a 2-man deadlift or a 2-woman deadlift, like you're talking before, heights are going to matter. It's going to be a stiff bar. It's an axle. It's not going to have a flex in it. So the height that we're looking at is just an inch or two higher than a traditional deadlift. So it's not quite into that 18-inch by any means.
yeah.
But it's going to be a nice 10, 11.
Perfect.
And with this one, it's not powerlifting rules. You don't need to only have 3 lifts. It's more of a knockout. Each round goes up by 20 kilograms. You can skip rounds if you want. But once you make a call saying that I'm going to lift 400 kilograms, you got to stick to it. You can't skip it. You can't pass it. Once you
Yeah,
call it, it's yours. The expected weight, once again, I haven't gotten the implement, so ideally it's going to start at like 320 for males. I want to touch the implement before I put that into stone.
yeah,
Just because, even though it's 700 and some pounds between 2 different people, which isn't all that terrible, if we throw her on a super thick bar, that's going to get you forward. That's going to get some things messed up. And I'm not quite sure how they're going to do the actual bar. So I'm very excited to see what they come up with. But the way that they're talking it, it's gonna be gnarly.
Right on.
Yeah.
And then that goes right into to a 2-person log for reps, which that's that's a nice event to throw in there. A 2-person log for reps, coordination, finding the right partner. That's good. That's going to be tough.
So this one should be made, I think he said, in January. So for any of those that don't have access to a 2-man log, come on down to PEI in Charlottetown. We actually have a home now. We're not training outside anymore.
Awesome.
We're down at Kinetic Fitness in Charlottetown. So jump on down. I think it's $10 for a day pass. Come train, because it is different. You're doing the timing and the technique by yourself takes a little while to get the log down pat. With 2 people, it's going to be different. I've never done it before, but I think this is the one where I'm most excited for.
Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be great. A lot of the time you won't see it even in a partner event because who's got a 2-man log? So only the highest level of partner events will even do it. But you guys are going to have a log. That's awesome.
Thank you, making me blush.
Well, once again, like custom gear like that for the fan is more appealing too.
Yeah, it really is, and it's something. So with being at the credit union place, what we can do is actually have some of the best crowd interaction with the athletes. So there are times set aside for, it's a family event. So for the kids to come down, we're partnering up or planning on partnering up with Guys Who Give a Shit, one of our charities here on PEI that I'm part of. I've touched base with Jay Mosier, who's one of the leads of it. He thinks it's a great idea. So then we can start giving back to the community with these strongman events. So they're going to set up a little bit of a photo booth to get some funny pictures with the strongman, whether it's the kids throwing a stone on one of the big fellas or, us holding up the bar for the kids to pretend like they're shoulder pressing. It's going to be cute, lots of interaction. And one of the things is people can come up and kind of see what we're using. I really want to build the sport here. So having more people touch the implements, not obviously use them because that's an insurance risk, but to get people talking, people chatting. We're all friendly. We're all from Atlantic Canada. All of us want to talk about strongman. It's just our thing. So to have those types of events that are custom, you're not going to see it at your normal run-of-the-mill gym. This is only something that you're going to see at a strongman event or a strongman gym.
Right on.
And with the credit union place, I think with our section, we can actually hold 1,100 people. If we were in the green zone, there was nothing going on with COVID or anything like that. But even with COVID, because it's such a huge, great place, we can fit in 500 people. I'm not expecting 500 the first year. We signed a 3-year contract with the city of Summerside so that this becomes an annual event. But to have that potential of getting that many eyes on strongman hasn't been done since Renfrew's second annual Heavier Than Hell, where it was done at the motorcycle power sport event where so many people got to see it. It hasn't been done here on PEI in a very long time to have the potential of that many people putting eyes on strongman.
Right on.
So
Yeah.
thank
It's
you, credit union place.
I think that 2021 is going to be the best year for strongman in Atlantic Canada in a long time.
I agree.
I think that this COVID has kind of given a lot of people the itch to want to put on good shows and put on a lot of shows, and I'm hoping it all pans out.
It's so much easier to put on an event like this. With hockey, you need to have so many different organizations to get a tournament together, where with a strongman event, you're putting one on, I'm putting one on, Alex puts one on. It's so much easier and quicker to get this up and running. So COVID really gave us a real advantage almost. Training obviously has been very rough.
Yeah.
But to put on an event and put on a great event has been fantastic for us.
Right on.
Anyway,
So
sorry, I went on a tangent. I guess back to
no, that's
events.
okay.
Yeah. So the next event.
Shout out to Moosehead Breweries in St. John. Maybe a future sponsor, maybe not, but it's good beer.
It's still delicious.
So you're going to end Saturday afternoon with, with what is two events that look really, really, really cool to the
Yeah.
average spectator who doesn't really know what's going on, and even to strongman fans, people in the know. Any throw for height is difficult. It takes a lot of time to figure it out. It takes a lot of practice, and a truck pull, which the same way, it takes a lot of practice, and not a lot of people have access to the equipment to do it.
It's true. With the toss over bar, so with PEI Strongest Man, we did a raising bar, which is great for strong men, strong women, but not so visually appealing. Where this one, it's going one of two ways. It's either going to be one heavy thing that they're throwing back and forth, kind of like the stone, or it's going to be a ridiculous amount of implements that they're going to have to tag each other in and out for. At the two-person truffle, it's got to be stupid heavy. We're on ideal surface. It's an ice rink. Great concrete, super flat. So it needs to be really heavy to have two people hooked onto the truck to get it going. And one thing that I really want to stay away from was having a stone or a deadlift finishing at the competition. Sometimes, and I'm 100% guilty of it, is you start counting points whenever you have a deadlift or a stone and you put in what you need to do. So if you're top three, you kind of know what you need to do to stay in your position or jump up one. Where whenever you have a truck pull at the end, you go balls to the wall, whether you're first place or last place. That's a truck pull. That's exciting. You find energy to do a truck pull.
Yeah. I was watching some old World's Strongest Man shows, and in the late 90s, they had a truck pull that was two trucks, but there was slack in the line between the first truck and the second truck. So they'd have to pull the first truck, get that going, and then once they hit a certain distance, it would start to pull the second truck, but the second truck wasn't, the line wasn't tight between the two, so they weren't trying to start both at the same time. They would start one and then hit a certain distance, and the other one would catch, and they'd have to get going with that one.
You know what? That might be a good way to do it.
Yeah.
That I actually never thought of it like that, to put two into the rink. That's not a bad idea. What I was kind of tossing around myself was that I was going to take away the arm rope. So it was the two guys without a rope so that they're going to be crawling.
Yeah.
Just so that, once again, that visually appealing, but it's a little bit different. I'm so happy that truck pulls are starting to get a little bit more into events here in Atlantic Canada. So I wanted to make it a little bit different, but I think that two truck, depending on who the sponsor is, that might be the ticket.
Yeah. Two trucks, slack between the lines, so you've got to start both trucks individually.
And having both people kind of ricochet back, like it's not one person trying to grind it out, having both people going at it, it's going to be fun. I don't know if you ever watched any of the Pure Strength team events.
Yep.
Yeah, that some of their stuff was absolutely nuts. We're not going to be doing swords in front with wine glasses. But the two-person truck, whenever I saw that, it was immediate. It was, we got to do that. That's amazing. And so if you're looking to compete at this, definitely give myself, Zane Nicholson. I think I'm the only Zane kicking around on Facebook, at least on PEI. The event is $150 for the 2 people, so $75 each. Now there's going to be a little bit of a goodie bag whenever you come, but what we already know that it includes 1 night stay at a hotel in Summerside. So you're staying there. You don't have to worry about accommodations. If you want to come the night before, so that if you're coming from a Newfoundland, St. John, Yarmouth type of thing, so you're doing quite a bit of travel, we'll get you a discount code so that you can book the night before, have a good sleep. But we're covering the Saturday to Sunday for you. Also included is 2 event shirts, 1 Saturday, 1 Sunday, so that you're not having to re-put on a sticky shirt full of tacky from the first event on Saturday. And the goodie bag, I don't want to announce too much because I've had great conversations. It looks like people are on board, but until, the X marks the spot, I don't want to come out and say it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely going to be great for the athletes. The athletes are going to be treated like professional athletes because they are. Our prize pot already has money in it, which is top notch. Sometimes you go to a competition and you're paying everything. With this, top 3, 100% prize money in there for you of a decent amount. Depending on what sponsors come on, hopefully we'll get the registration money back right to you. I don't want to promise that this year. This is a 3-year event. Our first year, because we're getting a lot of things made, is going to cost us the most of the 3 years. But hopefully if we get the right sponsors on board, the registration's back, because you guys are going to be the ones that are making the event. So it's going to be great. For those that are looking for tickets, they're not quite on sale yet. The city of Summerside hasn't put out their ticket package just yet. But by the looks of it, you can buy for the half day, day, or weekend, and they're all very reasonable prices. I think the weekend pass for adults is $15. So that's crazy. With the going back to the event, there is going to be a warm-up room, which is great for the athletes. Hopefully, once again, until X marks the spot, I won't say what else is behind the curtain. But there should be a little bit of a warm-up space, which is sometimes you get those in competitions, sometimes you don't. I'm sure that you know all about it.
Yeah.
But it's made to have people perform at their best. Dallas, JP, all the guys up in Summerside at the Credit Union Place have been nothing but top notch and want this to go like a show that it should be, and not just a tossed together thing. They're looking for quality. So yeah, give me a shout via the Facebook, and yeah, the information will be posted up Friday night. But keep coming back because things will be updated. Events obviously will change a little bit. Weights will change a little bit. But the bones of the competition is there, and it's going to be great.
Fantastic. It's funny. Yeah, Summerside. People that don't know, Summerside, Prince Edward Island, has produced, or the Summerside area has produced, some pretty serious international level powerlifters.
We have athletes well beyond that.
Yeah.
Heather Moyes, she's a Summerside. She's won Canada 2 Olympic gold medals.
Yeah.
Definitely the powerlifters. We definitely have them in spades. Summerside's one of those spots that it used to be a base well back in the day, and they shifted, and this small population has really invested in the sports. There's the Canada Games facility, there's the Credit Union Place, baseball fields beyond. just unfortunately not a whole lot's getting used right now with
Yeah.
COVID with organizations. So Strongman, we're coming in,
Awesome.
and we're gonna be. You'll be saying that we produce some pretty good strongman here too. We have a really good amateur class going right now, and just looking for a couple of those people to take a couple steps up, and we'll be competing alongside you soon.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Zane, I think we'll call it there. You know, shout out to Summerside PEI and Moosehead Breweries, and we've been. This has
Oh, what
been
up, Danny Sutherland? Shout out Danny
shout out to
Sutherland.
Danny Sutherland. Shout out to Matt Sartoris, who needs to gain about 40 pounds. You know, shout out to Moosehead Breweries in St. John, who's not a sponsor yet, but if they want to contact me, that'd be cool.
Yeah, the New Brunswick Strongman competition's coming up soon. I'm very excited for
Yeah.
that one.
So I mean, nothing's really been announced yet for that, but
I thought I heard something on grants.
April 17th, the weekend of April 17th, is going to be New Brunswick Strongest Man in St. John. Um, the location is set, but we're not going to talk about that yet because the people that are running that location want to wait until the new year to get the ball rolling on announcing it. But you know, I'm thinking it's going to be a 1-day, 5-event show with open men, open women, and novice classes. You know, Renfrew's shown that you can do a good show with a fairly sizable amount of competitors in a decent amount of time. I mean, Heavier Than Hell was 5-ish hours, and there was open men, open women, lightweight and heavyweight women, lightweight and heavyweight men. So you know, I think we can get it done in 1 day, and you know, keep listening in for announcements on that because in the new year, we're going to start talking about the location and the events and registration and stuff like that. So, yeah, Moosehead Breweries, if you want to sponsor New Brunswick Strongest Man, that's cool. If not, I'm still probably going to buy the beer, and you're awesome. So,
Come on, Saki, come on in. I gotta say, whenever Mark put on the Heavier Than Hell weekend, that's now become the cornerstone or the what needs to be set for events coming up. And I think the more events that get rumored, I don't know about you, but I need an event to really push myself.
yeah,
So having all these events being whispered about, even if things aren't set in stone, even if things fall off or whatever it happens to be, it's those types of things that get me pushing heavy.
yeah,
Me, myself, if there's nothing going on, I go in the recovery phase. I do a little bit of bodybuilding kind of, well, obviously not bodybuilding, but like those types of workouts. It's not till an event comes that I like, oh, well, I guess it's time to dust off the log. I guess it's time to really put some weight on that yoke.
yeah.
But I think the more whispers, the more rumors around, the better. Even if they're not ready to go, I think it's good for the sport, good for the people.
Yeah, you know, I think it's good that we talk about what's going on because there was a time in Atlantic Canada where the information was hard to get
Yeah.
about when a competition was, what were the events, who's going to be there, who's running it. It was, you know, and I'm thinking back 10, 15 years when I had first kind of dipped my toe into strongman. I was training with a guy named Jeff Lundberg, who was an open male competitor in the Maritimes. He did a lot of shows, and he was a really strong guy. Um, you know, at that time, you couldn't even find the information on where the next show was going to be unless you were kind of in the know, and there wasn't any way to get into the know.
Life before Facebook, eh?
Yeah. So, and I think it's good that we're sharing ideas and sharing information and putting it out there for people to find, um, especially now where there's novice classes, there's women's classes. There's multiple weight classes in novice and heavyweight. So, strongman is for everyone. And I think it's pretty great to talk about. It's my favorite thing to talk about. I
I'm
started
glad
a
that you made a
podcast
podcast
to talk
about
about
it.
strongman. So, I think 2021 is going to be a banner year for strongman in Atlantic Canada. And back to what you said, I think Renfrew, Heavier Than Hell this year, has set the standard for what a one-day show can do. Men and women, multiple weight classes, 5-event standard show, done well in less than 6 hours.
With a built-in crowd, some implements that we generally don't see. It was the first time ever touching a balls of steel implement at all, which was fun as anything. I don't know how he got a Titan piece of equipment across the border, because it seems very hard to do.
Yeah.
But he did it. Man, if anybody's out there that knows how to get one of those balls of steel to Canada, tell me, because I am looking, and I'm looking hard.
Yeah. I was looking. I follow that Bartos Power Center on Instagram, and he puts out when he puts out a new run of that stuff, and looking at the price tag, and you look at those things, and the first price looks pretty good. Oh, 600 US, and then you start adding up. Well, it's 600 US, so it's 900 or 1,000 Canadian, and it already weighs X amount of pounds, so it's going to cost me another $300 Canadian to ship it, or I can get it shipped to Calais. But here's COVID, and I can't go into Calais to Ace Hardware to get it, anyways. And geez, I might as well just start making stones, because I can go to Home Depot and get Quikrete and make my own.
Maybe I should order some stones off you right now. On PEI, there's only a couple people that make stones, and they're not doing it right now. I bought some from Grant. Grant's always had spectacular stuff, but unfortunately, the stones that they kind of got beaten up a little quicker than I expected them to.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking for like a real good stone. So with that stone over bar, I was taking a peek on how to make a steel one, but I don't think I can do it. So yeah, trying to find a way to do it, because you have to have stones in a strongman event, one way or another.
We can get you a stone.
Yeah. Oh no, I'll be good.
You name the weight. And between a couple of guys that I train with here, they've got enough molds to make whatever you want.
I might have to give them a ring.
Right on.
Excellent.
All right. We'll end it there. This has been the Atlantic Strong Podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Dickens. Zane Nicholson, the best overhead presser in the Maritimes. That also looks like your dad. Thank you and good night.